The goblet shattered against the stone floor, wine splashing like blood across the queen's sandals as she rose in a fury that sucked the air from the throne room. "I said bring it now," she roared, her voice cracking like thunder, and the ministers flinched as if struck. Guards stiffened, servants froze mid-step. The frustrated queen's eyes burned not with fire alone, but with something deeper, fear clawing at the walls of her chest, demanding to be heard and answered with rage. She paced, dragging her cloak behind her, fists clenched. "Every word you speak delays me," she snapped at the trembling steward. "Do you think time bends for fools?" Her breath came sharp, her jaw tightened. In her mind, the familiar pressure swelled, a coil winding tighter and tighter. Anger had become her armor, her answer to everything she could not fix. The steward stammered an apology. It only worsened things. "Silence!" she screamed, and the room obeyed. She stood there, queen of a vast kingdom, yet caged by a storm that never slept. The frustrated queen had learned long ago that anger worked. It made people move faster. It made them fear her. Fear felt like control. But control slipped. She staggered just for a breath, a hand flying to her chest. The pressure stabbed and then eased, like a warning whispered by an unseen mouth. She straightened quickly. No one must see weakness. "Out," she ordered. "All of you." The room emptied in a rush of footsteps and bowed heads. When the doors closed, the echo of her own breathing mocked her. She turned away from the throne, disgust curling her lip. "Useless," she muttered, unsure if she meant them or herself. By dusk, the palace buzzed again, quieter now, cautious. Word spread as it always did. The queen's temper had broken another morning. By nightfall, a new maid arrived through the servants' gate, dust on her hem, eyes steady. Her name was Lyra. She had been warned. "Do not look at her too long," an older servant whispered as they walked the dim corridor. "Do not speak unless spoken to, and if she shouts—" "I know," Lyra said softly. "I listen." The older servant studied her. "Listening will not save you." Lyra did not answer. She had learned that silence could carry weight. The first time the queen saw her, it was by accident. The queen stormed into her chambers, flinging gloves onto the table. "Water," she demanded. "Now!" Lyra moved before the others, poured, and offered the cup with both hands. Their eyes met for a breath. The queen frowned. "What are you staring at?" "Nothing, your majesty," Lyra said. Her voice was calm, not timid. It irritated the queen instantly. "Nothing," the queen snapped. "Then why do you stand like a stone? Are you deaf?" "No, your majesty." "Then hurry." Lyra bowed and stepped back. The queen drank, winced as a tremor crossed her hand, then slammed the cup down. "Cold," she said sharply. "Do you mock me?" "I would never," Lyra replied. The queen leaned forward. "Never is a dangerous word. Remember that." The days that followed sharpened like blades. The queen's frustration grew, fed by delays, by memories she could not drown, by a kingdom that demanded answers she did not have. She lashed out often, and often Lyra was there, quiet, precise, unafraid in a way that set the queen's teeth on edge. "You move as if you have nowhere to be," the queen accused one afternoon as Lyra adjusted a tapestry. "Do you think this palace will wait for you?" "I think it already has," Lyra said before she could stop herself. The room fell still. The queen's face hardened. "What did you say?" Lyra bowed deeply. "Forgive me. I meant that the palace has stood for many years. It is patient." The queen laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. "Patience is for those without power." "Or for those with too much pain," Lyra said quietly. The queen crossed the room in 2 strides and stopped inches from Lyra's face. "You will not speak to me of pain," she hissed. "You know nothing of it." Lyra met her gaze. "I know enough to recognize it." For a heartbeat, the queen considered striking her. The old urge surged, sweet and familiar, but something held her back. Not mercy, not kindness, but curiosity. "Get out," she said instead, "before I remember who I am." Lyra left, heart pounding, unsure whether she had just sealed her fate or delayed it. That night, the queen's anger exploded again. A report had gone missing. A messenger arrived late. Her voice echoed through corridors, shaking walls and souls. When it was over, she collapsed into her chair, exhausted, breath shallow. The pressure returned, tighter this time, squeezing until her vision dimmed. Unseen by all, Lyra knelt in the shadows beyond the door. She pressed her palm to the floor and whispered words taught by her mother, words heavy with promise. "Not yet," she murmured. "Please, not yet." The pressure eased. Morning came and the queen lived. Days turned into weeks. Each outburst carved something. The cell door closed with a final, hollow thud that echoed through Lyra's bones. She exhaled slowly, steadying herself. The stone was cold, the air damp, but fear was not what pressed on her chest. It was urgency. Above her, the queen still breathed. That was what mattered. Hours passed, or minutes. In the dark, time folded in on itself. In her chamber, the frustrated queen did not sleep. She tore off her crown and flung it onto the table. "Which?" she muttered, pacing. "Or savior, or both?" Her pulse thudded too loudly in her ears. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Lyra's hands, steady and sure, felt the pain retreat at her whisper. It made no sense. It made too much sense. She summoned the captain of the guard. "No one touches the maid," she said flatly. The captain hesitated. "Your Majesty ordered." "I order many things," the queen snapped. "This one stands." When the captain left, she pressed her fingers to her temples. "Why you?" she whispered to no one. "Why now?" At dawn, she descended to the lower levels herself. The guards stiffened as she approached the cell. "Open it," she said. Inside, Lyra rose and bowed. "Your Majesty." The queen studied her like a puzzle that had begun to fight back. "You saved me," she said. It was not a question. "I did what I could." "With what?" the queen demanded. "Your words, your breath." "With a promise." The queen's laugh was brittle. "Promises do not stop hearts from breaking." "Some do," Lyra replied, "when they are kept." The queen stepped closer, lowering her voice. "If you are lying, I will know. And when I do, you will beg." "I won't," Lyra said gently. "I never have." That calm again. It scraped at the queen's nerves. "You think yourself brave," she said. "You think this makes you special." "No," Lyra answered. "I think it makes me responsible." "For what?" "For you." The queen recoiled as if struck. "You dare!" "I do." Silence stretched. Then the queen turned sharply. "Release her," she ordered the guards, "but she stays where I can see her." Thus Lyra returned to the palace, watched by every eye. Whispers followed her footsteps. "Witch, blessed, fool." The queen's frustration worsened. Now it had a target that did not flinch. "Why do you never beg?" the queen demanded one evening as Lyra poured tea. "Because begging hands power to fear,"
I fear
Lyra
failing
said.
you.
"And you fear
You
nothing."
don't know me. I'm
"I
learning
fear
you think
failing
that
you."
gives you the right
The
to
words
judge.
slipped out, raw and honest.
I
The
fear
queen's throat tightened.
failing you.
"You don't know me," she said
You
harshly.
don't
"I am
know
learning."
me. I'm
"You
learning
think that
you
gives you the
think
right
that
to
gives
judge?"
you the right
"No,"
to
Lyra said.
judge.
"Only to stay." That night, the queen dreamed of fire and falling. She woke, gasping, clawing at sheets. "Lyra!" she shouted before she could stop herself. Lyra was there instantly. "I'm here." The queen grabbed her wrist. "Don't leave." "I won't." The admission frightened the queen more than solitude ever had. She released her and turned away. "Get out," she said weakly. Lyra obeyed, But the queen lay awake, staring at the ceiling, anger now braided with dependence. The next days brought tests. Ministers pressed harder. Borders trembled. A famine report arrived. The queen snapped at every word. "Do you want me to fail?" she shouted in council. "Is that it?" No one answered. No one ever did. Pain surged again, stronger. She bit back a cry. Lyra moved forward instinctively, stopping herself just short of touch. "Do it," the queen hissed through clenched teeth. "Whatever you do," Lyra whispered, voice shaking now. "Stay with me. Don't fight it alone. I have always fought alone, and it has been killing you." The truth landed heavy. The pain ebbed, slow as a tide retreating. When it was over, the queen sagged into her chair, exhausted. "You speak as if you know," she said hoarsely. "I do," Lyra answered, "because this is not the first crown anger has eaten from the inside." The queen's eyes snapped up. "Explain." Lyra hesitated. "Later. Now. Not here." The queen dismissed the council. Doors closed. "Speak." Lyra drew a breath. "Once there was a ruler who believed fear was strength. He punished first and listened last. His anger felt like justice to him, until it hollowed him out." The queen's voice dropped. "What happened to him?" "He died screaming," Lyra said softly. "Not from enemies, from himself." The queen's hand trembled. "You tell stories to frighten me." "I tell them so you live." The words lingered long after Lyra left. That night the queen raged alone, quieter but no less sharp. Memories surfaced, faces she had condemned, pleas she had ignored. "They deserved it," she whispered. "They had to." But the whisper cracked. Below, Lyra pressed her palm to stone again. "Hold," she murmured. "Please hold." Morning came with a messenger bearing disastrous news. A rebellion stirred at the edge of the kingdom. The council erupted. The queen's frustration boiled over. "I will crush them," she declared. "I will make an example." Lyra spoke before fear could stop her. "If you do, the pain will return." The queen whirled. "Threaten me again, and I will silence you forever." "I'm not threatening," Lyra said. "I'm warning." The queen's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. "Who are you to warn a queen?" Lyra met her gaze. "Someone who knows what you carry." The council watched, breath held. The queen dismissed them all. When they were alone, she slammed her fist into the table. "Tell me the truth," she demanded. "All of it." Lyra's eyes shone. "If I do, you may hate me." "I already do," the queen said. "Speak." Lyra nodded. "My mother served this palace," she began. "She spoke against a punishment you ordered. She said it was unjust." The queen stiffened. "I don't remember." "She was sent away," Lyra continued. "She died poor and unheard. But before she died, she made me promise something." The queen swallowed. "What?" "To protect you," Lyra said. "No matter what it cost me." Rage flared. "You expect gratitude for this?" the queen snapped. "For saving me out of spite." "Not spite," Lyra said quietly. "Hope." The queen turned away, chest heaving. "Get out," she said again. "Before I break something I cannot fix." Lyra left, tears finally falling. If this revelation has you holding your breath, take a moment to like this story and share your thoughts in the comments. Your reactions shape how this tale unfolds. The rebellion advanced, pressure mounted. The queen's frustration sharpened into desperation. One night, alone with Lyra summoned before her, she whispered the truth she had never spoken. "I don't know how to stop," she said. "If I let go of anger, there will be nothing left." Lyra stepped closer. "There will be you." The queen laughed bitterly. "I don't know her." "You will," Lyra said, "if you survive long enough." The queen looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time fear outweighed fury. The queen stared at Lyra long after the words settled between them. If I survive long enough, she repeated slowly, as if tasting something unfamiliar. Her lips curled. You speak as if my death is already walking toward me. It is, Lyra said, voice steady but heavy. Every time you let the anger lead. The queen's temper flared on instinct. You think I don't know that? She snapped. You think I don't feel it tearing through me? She pressed a hand to her chest, breath hitching. I wake up every morning wondering if this will be the day my body refuses to carry me any further. Then let me help you, Lyra said. You already have, the queen shot back. And I hate that. Her voice broke on the last word. I hate needing anyone. Lyra did not retreat. Needing is not weakness, she said. Refusing help when it's offered is. The queen laughed, sharp and raw. You sound like a ruler already. I don't want a throne, Lyra replied. I want you alive. Silence fell again, thick and trembling. Outside, distant drums echoed from the city, signals of unrest, fear spreading faster than truth. The rebellion was no longer a rumor. It was moving. The queen turned away, staring out the window. They want my head, she said quietly. They think I rule with cruelty alone. And do they lie? Lyra asked softly. The queen's shoulders stiffened. You push too far. Only as far as you allow, Lyra said. The queen spun back. You forget your place. No, Lyra answered. I remember it too well. The queen's hand rose, trembling with the familiar urge to strike, to silence, to reclaim control. The pressure surged instantly, sharp and punishing. She gasped, staggering back. No, she whispered. Not now. Lyra moved without hesitation. She caught the queen before she fell, holding her upright despite the weight of the crown and the years behind it. Breathe, she urged. With me, please. The queen clutched her, nails digging into fabric. I'm afraid, she whispered, the confession torn from somewhere deep and buried. If I stop being angry, they will destroy me. They are already trying, Lyra said. Anger hasn't saved you. It's only delayed the cost. The pain eased, leaving the queen trembling, drained. She pulled away slowly, shame flickering across her face. Do not tell anyone what you heard. I won't, Lyra said, but you cannot unsay it to yourself. The next day, the rebellion reached the outer villages. Refugees flooded the gates. Ministers argued loudly, panic seeping into every word. We must respond with force, one insisted. Mercy will be seen as weakness. The queen sat rigid on her throne, frustration coiling. She felt the old response rising, hot and ready. Enough, she said sharply. I will decide. Her gaze flicked to Lyra, standing at the edge of the room. Lyra did not speak. She only looked at the queen, not pleading, not commanding, just present. The queen swallowed. Leave us, she ordered the council. When they were gone, she leaned forward. If I choose differently, she said, will the pain stop forever? Lyra hesitated. I don't know, she admitted, but it will no longer be fed. The queen laughed bitterly. You ask me to starve the only thing that has ever obeyed me. I ask you to starve the thing that is killing you, Lyra replied. The queen closed her eyes. Images flashed, faces twisted in fear, bodies dragged away, her own reflection hard and unyielding. What if I fail, she whispered. Then you try again, Lyra said, and again, until anger no longer rules you. The queen opened her eyes, something new flickering there. Resolve, thin but real. Prepare the chamber, she said. I will address them. Word spread quickly. The court gathered, tense and wary. The queen stood before them, crown heavy, heart pounding. This was not a battlefield she understood. I have ruled with fire, she began, voice steady despite the storm inside. Murmurs rippled. I believed fear would keep this kingdom whole. She paused. The pressure stirred, testing her. She breathed through it. I was wrong. Gasps, shock. Ministers exchanged looks. My anger has protected nothing, she continued. It has only bled us all. Her voice trembled now. Today I choose restraint. Today I choose to listen. A noble scoffed. And what of the rebels, your majesty? Will you talk them into surrender? The queen's jaw tightened. The old fury clawed up, desperate. Lyra's eyes met hers, calm, anchoring. The queen inhaled slowly. I will offer terms, she said. Justice, not slaughter. The scoff turned into laughter. This is weakness. The queen stepped down from the throne, walking closer. This is courage, she said quietly, and it terrifies you because you've never tried it. The pain surged, brutal and sudden. The queen staggered, a cry escaping her. Lyra rushed forward, catching her again. The court erupted. Enough, the queen shouted, even as she leaned on Lyra. You wanted to see strength. Look. She forced herself up. She forced herself upright, breathing hard. I stand without rage, and I am still queen. Pain receded, slower this time, reluctant. Whispers filled the chamber, some fearful, some hopeful. That night, the queen collapsed into her chair, exhausted beyond measure. I don't know if I can do this, she admitted, voice barely audible. You already are, Lyra said, kneeling beside her. Every moment you choose differently is a victory. The queen looked down at her. Why did your mother protect me? She asked suddenly. After what I did? Lyra's throat tightened. Because she believed your anger was learned, not born, she said. She believed you could unlearn it. Tears welled in the queen's eyes, unbidden and unwelcome. She turned away. Leave me, she whispered. Lyra stood, hesitating. I will be close. Days passed, negotiations began. Each meeting tested the queen's restraint. Each insult, each delay tempted her to snap back into the familiar fire. And each time the pain threatened to return, a reminder carved into her flesh. One evening, alone with Lyra after a particularly brutal session, the queen slammed her hand against the wall. They push me on purpose, she snarled. They want me to break. Yes, Lyra agreed, because if you do, they win. The queen laughed bitterly. And if I don't? Then everything changes, Lyra said. The queen sank onto the bed, head in her hands. I don't recognize myself, she murmured. That's because you're meeting her for the first time, Lyra replied. The next morning brought news of a rebel leader requesting an audience. The court erupted again. It's a trap, voices warned. Kill him. The queen closed her eyes, anger flaring bright and immediate. The pressure stabbed, sharp and familiar. She gasped, then steadied herself. Bring him, she said. When the rebel leader stood before her, defiant and wounded, the queen felt something twist inside her. Not fury, but recognition. You think I am your enemy, she said. You are, he spat. You rule with cruelty. I ruled with fear, she corrected. There is a difference. He scoffed. Words won't erase the dead. No, the queen said quietly. But they might stop more from joining them. The room held its breath. If you're still with this story and feeling every turn of this dangerous transformation, take a second to subscribe and like the video. It tells me you want to see how far this queen is willing to go. The rebel leader hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty crossed his face. You would really change, he asked. The queen's hands trembled, but her voice did not. I already am. Behind her, Lyra watched, heart pounding, knowing the greatest test was still ahead, and that the final cost of anger had not yet been fully paid. The chamber felt smaller with the rebel leader standing there, chains loose around his wrists, but defiance still sharp in his eyes. The frustrated queen held his gaze, feeling the familiar heat stir beneath her skin, testing her resolve one last time. Her heartbeat thudded loudly, every pulse asking the same question. Will you return to anger, or will you let it die? You expect me to trust you, the rebel leader said, breaking the silence. After years of blood, I don't expect trust, the queen replied. I expect patience, from both of us. Laughter rippled among the guards. The rebel leader shook his head. You speak like someone with nothing left to lose. The queen inhaled slowly. Pain flickered, warning her. I speak like someone who nearly lost everything, she said, including myself. The rebel leader studied her face, searching for mockery and finding none. And if this is another trick, then you will be right to rise against me, the queen answered. But if it is not, then this kingdom might finally rest. The chains were removed. Gasps echoed through the hall. Lyra's breath caught. She had known this moment would come, but knowing did not make it easier. One wrong word, one flare of rage, and everything would collapse. The rebel leader bowed his head just slightly. We will hear your terms. When he was escorted out, the queen's knees nearly gave way. Lyra was at her side instantly. You did it, she whispered. For now, the queen murmured. I can still feel it, waiting. Yes, Lyra said. It will always wait, but it doesn't have to rule. That night, the queen could not sleep. She paced, restless, thoughts spiraling. What if they betray me? She asked aloud. Then you respond with wisdom, Lyra said from the doorway. Not fire. The queen turned sharply. And if wisdom fails? Then you grieve, Lyra answered. But you do not burn yourself to prove a point. The queen scoffed weakly. You make it sound simple. It isn't, Lyra said. It's just worth it. Days passed, talks continued. Some rebels laid down arms, others tested boundaries. Each test pressed against the queen's restraint. Each success strengthened it. Then came the night everything nearly unraveled. A noble stormed into the queen's chamber, panic etched into his face. Your Majesty, the western outpost has been attacked. Soldiers are dead. The queen's vision went red. They promised peace, she snarled. They lied. Pain exploded through her chest, sharper than ever before. She screamed, collapsing to the floor. The room erupted in chaos. Lyra knelt beside her, hands shaking now. Listen to me, she pleaded. This is the moment that decides everything. The queen clutched her arm. I can't, she gasped. I can't stop it. Yes, you can, Lyra insisted, tears streaming freely. Choose me. Choose now. The queen's body convulsed as the pain peaked, a burning that felt final. Images flooded her mind, her younger self, frightened and alone. Her first decree. The first time anger made people bow. She realized then what she had never admitted. Anger had not protected her. It had kept her company. I don't want to be alone anymore, she whispered. The pain broke like glass. The queen collapsed into stillness, breath shallow but steady. The pressure was gone. Completely. Lyra sobbed, pressing her forehead to the queen's hand. You stayed, she whispered. You stayed. When the queen woke hours later, the world felt strange, quiet. Her chest no longer burned. She sat up slowly, testing. Nothing. Lyra, she said. I'm here, Lyra answered instantly. The queen stared at her hands. It's gone. Lyra nodded, smiling through tears. You broke it. The queen laughed softly, disbelieving. All this time, it was my choice. Yes, Lyra said. Every time. News of the queen's collapse spread quickly. Some feared death, others hoped for it. Instead, the queen emerged days later, changed, quieter, steadier. She summoned the court. The outpost attack was not ordered by the rebels, she announced. It was the act of men who profit from chaos. Murmurs rippled. I will not answer treachery with slaughter, she continued. Those responsible will face justice. Fairly. The court watched, stunned. This was not the queen they knew. Negotiations resumed. The rebellion dissolved piece by piece. The kingdom exhaled. One evening, as the palace settled into a new rhythm, the queen stood beside Lyra on the balcony. "You could have walked away," she said, "many times." "Yes," Lyra agreed. "Why didn't you?" Lyra's voice softened. "Because my mother believed no one is born cruel, and because I saw you trying to survive." The queen nodded slowly. "You saved my life." "No," Lyra said gently. "You saved it yourself. I just reminded you how." Silence fell, comfortable now. Days later, the queen called Lyra before the court. "This woman has served beyond duty," she declared. "She is free of obligation and may ask any reward." Lyra bowed. "I ask for none." The queen frowned. "Nothing?" "I ask only to leave," Lyra said, "to live my life without fear." The court gasped. The queen's throat tightened. "You would go?" "Yes," Lyra said, "because staying would turn what I did into a chain." The queen closed her eyes, understanding at last. "Then go," she said softly, "with my blessing." When they stood alone one final time, the queen pressed a small token into Lyra's hand. "So you remember," she said. Lyra smiled. "I will never forget." As Lyra walked through the gates, the frustrated queen watched from above, not with rage, not with fear, but with gratitude. The kingdom behind her felt lighter, quieter, alive. She turned back toward her throne, not as a prisoner of anger, but as a ruler who had faced it and lived. And so the people learned that power does not lie in how loudly one can rage, but in how bravely one can change. If this story held you until the end, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps keep powerful stories like this alive and growing. The crown still weighed heavy on the queen's head, but for the first time it no longer crushed her heart.